Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you, friends, for coming here. I will not reveal a great secret if I say that the state of Russian-American relations has seriously deteriorated last year, late last year, I would say. The negative trends have been building up for quite some time. And of course, all the right words were said, including in the Strategic Framework Declaration, which was adopted at the Sochi summit in April 2008. But all these right words remain just nice words without translating into real efforts to promote an equal and mutually respectful partnership. The choice has not been ours. The plans of the previous US administration have carried with them a serious damage to Russia's security interests, and if realized, would inevitably demand our response. I mean the plans to deploy elements of the US strategic missile defense in Eastern Europe, the efforts for the hectic, unjustified NATO expansion, NATO's refusal to ratify the Adapted Conventional Forces in Europe Treaty, and entirely unrelated and, I believe, artificial pretexts, not to mention the attempts to punish Russia after the August crisis in Southern Caucasus in the form of withdrawing 123 agreement from ratification procedures, freezing bilateral contacts between the military, blocking the work of the NATO-Russia Council and of the G8 mechanisms, and such examples were quite numerous. So if we're serious about the need to reset our relations, then we must get rid of the toxic assets inherited from last years. Otherwise, we would not succeed in the invigoration of the US-Russian dialogue, which, in view of the special responsibility of our two countries, is in the interest of the entire international community. So I value this opportunity to address the Carnegie audience at this time of a window of opportunity for the US-Russian relations to get on the right track. President Dmitry Medvedev, in his recent article in the Washington Post, pointed that it is not only on the basis of equality, mutual benefit, and mutual respect for each other's interests that we can get out of the crisis of confidence between us, from the vicious circle of actions and counteractions. It is exactly the refusal to respect these principles which undermine the confidence and brought us to the drift and indifference about which so much was written in Russia, in the United States, and in Europe as well. We appreciate the sincere desire of the new US administration to develop a constructive bilateral relationship. It was important to get a signal that the United States has made its strategic choice and intends to stop the drift in our relations. As a matter of fact, our dialogue has already been launched. As you know, the meeting of Presidents Medvedev and Obama in London on April 1 has shown that we have moved from polite words to a normal joint work based on mutual respect and readiness to develop mature relations in a pragmatic, business-like way. In London, our two leaders endorsed two important joint statements, one on a framework of bilateral relations and on the work to be done to agree on a post-Start 1 regime. These documents reflect, in an honest way, the level of compromises and confidence at which we find ourselves at the moment, when many strategic reviews of the US foreign policy, which directly affect our bilateral relations, have not been completed yet. All in all, our relations have become more pragmatic and contain less illusions and ideology, or if you wish, idealism. This is a trademark of both our leaders, who above all want specific results rather than a demonstration of mutual sympathy for public consumption. Although I must point out the personal chemistry established in London between our presidents also seem quite okay. The important thing is that this chemistry be accompanied by progress on the substance of the issues under discussion. And here we must bear in mind the important role not only of the bureaucracies in both our countries, but also of the public opinion, which is formed to a great extent by the news media and influential political scientists. In general, we speak about how the national elites in Russia and in the States view each other. That is why I believe I am here today on your invitation in the club of professionals, not entirely foreign to the shaping of the foreign policy of the United States. No one is talking in terms of removing in a single stroke the differences and contradictions which are inevitable in the development of relations between any two major states. This would be just the very idealism we want to get rid of. But one must know how to respect a partner, recognize his legitimate interests, and not to take actions which are consciously aimed at undermining those interests. And of course to be able to act together where it would bring mutual benefits. If you take Russia and America, there are more than enough spheres for such mutually beneficial joint action. Our two countries, possessing the biggest nuclear arsenals, bear a special responsibility for the process of disarmament, not only nuclear, by the way, but conventional as well. Unfortunately, the problems of nuclear disarmament have not been in the center of attention recently. I will not now dwell upon the reasons. Another thing is important. The political course proclaimed by the Obama administration provides a good, if not a unique, opportunity to meet the sustained readiness of Russia to resume a disarmament effort. A one-sided ambition toward absolute security is a dangerous illusion, and it is encouraging that now this seems to be recognized by our new partners in Washington. Late this year, the START I treaty expires. This treaty has not been bad in itself, but all its terms have been fulfilled and over-fulfilled, and START I is no longer an effective instrument of control in the field of strategic arms. Therefore, we see no point in extending it. We need a new document, and we are working hard to prepare it. There is a hope that before the end of the year, we will be able to arrive at a mutually acceptable language of a new treaty, although time is running short and fast. We propose that all the useful provisions be taken from the current START treaty, including verification mechanisms, and new lower ceilings be established both on strategic delivery vehicles and on the warheads on them. Judging by initial contacts, our position appeared to meet understanding of the US negotiators. In May and June, we hope to have several sessions of full-scale consultations of the negotiating teams who will submit a progress report to the two presidents when they meet in Moscow early July, where the post-START regime will be, without doubt, one of the main priorities. You certainly know that our position is based on the inseparable link between strategic offensive arms and strategic defenses. Each and every agreement concluded so far on the strategic arms issues between Moscow and Washington was founded on the recognition of this objective link. Of course, after the United States withdrew from the ABN Treaty, this link was broken. In their joint statement in London, Presidents Medvedev and Obama instructed their governments to address this connection under the new conditions. So the discussions which are planned for this year must follow this instruction of the two presidents. As for the problem of missile defense as such, we are in favor of going beyond the narrow framework of unilateral and partial decisions which are hard to understand and which create risks for Russia's security. A truly collective approach is needed. Naturally, this should involve the participation of all interested countries, above all Europeans themselves. Our proposals in this regard are well known since July 2007, when they were made by Vladimir Putin at the Russia-US summit at Karnegi.Part. Before the London meeting of Presidents Medvedev and Obama, these proposals were developed into more details and transmitted to the American side. If they were to be realized, they would contribute to a positive, qualitative change in the strategic context, not only of our relations, but of the entire Euro-Atlantic politics. We can achieve quite a lot together in the field of nuclear non-proliferation. All the time we reiterate how important it is to strengthen the non-proliferation treaty, a key element of the contemporary system of international security. It is no secret that the non-proliferation regime based on NPT is going through very difficult times. And we must keep in mind that the fate of the global non-proliferation system depends to a great extent on the position of our two countries, who are major nuclear powers. Undoubtedly, one must make sure that the dangerous technologies do not spread throughout the world. It is important in particular to reinforce